Thanks homeowners for joining us for the Myths of Retirement Living. My name again is Brian Schwatka. I'm a Realtor and Transition Specialist with Keller Williams. And I'm here today with Debbie Fears, who I'm sure you guys probably all know is the Director of Sales at the Terraces at Los Altos. Hello, Debbie.
Good morning. Hello, Brian.
Thanks everybody for being proactive homeowner and being here and using the technology. Really proud of you. And so we're going to get started. Our agenda for today in the Retirement Living webinar. First, we're going to talk about some facts and benefits. And then we're going to talk about some myths and misconceptions of retirement living. We get it all the time. So a little bit about me. Who is this Brian guy, right? My passion, my purpose, the reason I get up in the morning, the reason I love my job so much is that I get to help homeowners make important decisions about their future, period. Whether you're staying, whether you're going, no expectations or strings attached on my part. So I do that through education, through webinars and seminars, online videos, online classes, and especially with personal consultations where we meet one-on-one and we go a little deeper. So that education starts with first deciding if the homeowner should stay in their home or make a transition to a new home. Once we decide that, which is tough to do, once we decide that, then we decide where they're going to go. So I help them decide if they're going to go to a smaller home, downsize, maybe a retirement community, or maybe relocating out of the area. So that education gives them this clarity and certainty and confidence that they need to break that paralysis of analysis cycle, okay? Once we get through that, then I continue helping them by selling their home, saving them time, saving them money, and my ultimate goal is to have a stress-free transition from one home to the next. So you can find out more about me, Stay or Go Homeowner, whether you stay or whether you go, homeowner.com. Been doing it for 16 years now. Not bragging here. I'm just adding a little bit of validity to the fact that I've met with a lot of homeowners, and I've been working with retirees for about 16 years now. So that's me in a nutshell. So here's what I hear and find in all of my workings with my retirees. They have these transitions. It's going to happen sooner or later. There is a change coming. And, you know, maybe it's your home doesn't suit your lifestyle anymore. Maybe it's a five bedroom, 3-car garage, 2-story home with a pool in the backyard. And it's just, you've outlived that home. The maintenance might be getting a little overwhelming. Your health might be becoming an issue soon. You might be preparing for retirement, or you've been through retirement and your income's a little different than it used to be. Your neighborhood is changing. You know, maybe we have some transportation challenges, or maybe a co-owner has passed or a divorce has happened. I know I'm already tired of cooking and cleaning. So, you know, you might be tired of that. And just maybe sometimes we just need a change. So those are the typical life transitions. I'm sure you're resonating with that. I'm sure you're feeling one of those. And so you have some options, right? So here are the typical options that my retirees have. The first option is that they can stay in their home. And what they tell me is, you know, it's great. I can just stay at home because then I won't have to downsize or move. And so what I say to them is, you know, you're going to have to downsize sooner or later, and you might not want to leave that up to the kids. And if you do start downsizing right now, it's really going to start to reduce your stress, right? So I always kind of have a comeback on these. And so maybe they might say, you know, well, I'm comfortable in my home. And I say, well, yeah, I'm sure you're comfortable, but is it more comfortable than a cruise ship on land? And they say, well, no, not really. It's not that comfortable, right? And then they'll say, well, my home will continue to appreciate in value, so I'm going to stay here while the price just keeps going up and up. And I say, will it? If we have a market correction like we did in 2008 to 2009, and then how long will that take to come back, and what's going to happen in that amount of time? And the higher the price goes, the more capital gains you're going to pay. So I've almost got a response to a lot of these reasons why people want to stay in their home. They also might say, I have a gardener and a handyman. And I might say, well, what about safety upgrades and roofs and heaters and electrical and plumbing and the inconvenience of workers coming into your home? And then they might say, well, I have support from my friends and family, so I can stay here and indefinitely. I'm saying, well, are you paying them, and do they enjoy that? And could it possibly be a burden? So the last thing they say, the reason they want to stay at home is they're going to age in place. So they say, I'll just age in place and make my home safer. And then I say, well, does your home have a downstairs bedroom and a full bathroom? And are you safer alone than you would be in a community? So I'm not sure if staying at home is the best option for people long term, okay? Then the second option is to downsize to a smaller home. I get that. I can help people with that, but they're still going to be isolated. They're still going to be tied to the real estate market. They're still going to have those costs of home ownership like insurance and taxes and maintenance and utilities and food and cleaning and entertainment and security and all the things that you don't have to worry about at a retirement community. You're still going to be relying on your friends and family. You're still going to probably make another move in the future, and it's probably better to make that move sooner than later. So, the third option there is to move in with family. Need I say more there? I don't think I would really want to live with, I love my family, but I might not want to live with them. It's going to, it's not a long-term solution. It's burdensome. It adds a little family stress. So, I think really one of the great options that I've seen that I help a lot of people with is moving to a life plan community. And who better to tell us about a life plan community than our friend Debbie Fears, who's the director of sales at the Terraces at Los Altos. I think I've been working with Debbie for about 8 years now. Very authentic person, very good friend of mine. Terraces at Los Altos is pretty much blessed to have her there. She knows the seniors industry like the back of her hand. She doesn't sell, she educates. She's focused and driven, but she's also patient and empathetic. And I think that's what we need. So I'm going to hand it off to Debbie. She's going to introduce herself, and then we'll get into the myths and misconceptions. So Deb, take it away.
Thank you, Brian. It's been a pleasure working with you as well. Brian and I have been working together for over 8 years, and he's created seamless moves for our new residents who are joining the community, helping them with their home sale, downsizing, all that's entailed in selling their home and transitioning to a retirement community. So we make a wonderful team, and our residents have always been happy. So today we're going to talk about retirement living. And I am Debbie Fears, the sales director here at the Terraces at Los Altos. And I began my career in the senior retirement industry in 2007 as a care manager. I enjoy serving others in the retirement community, and I provide consultations, education, planning, and finding solutions. I started at the Terraces at Los Gatos in 2012, then joined the sister community, the Terraces at Los Altos, in 2019. Here at the Terraces at Los Altos, we are owned and operated by Human Good, a nonprofit organization. And I have been with Human Good for 8.5 years and working in the senior care industry for 16 years. I'm passionate in the work that I do and enjoy serving others. I feel very blessed to be working in the senior industry. It doesn't feel like work. It's a lot of fun. Let's talk about the benefits of living in a community. Our residents look forward to making new connections and developing new friendships, a sense of community. That's what they're wanting as neighborhoods are changing. They even reunite and connect with friends from the past who already live here in the community. They are also connecting and developing new relationships and friendships with our team members. The team members support them daily and provide a maintenance-free lifestyle. The Terraces at Los Altos is a life plan continuing care retirement community for independent living. We provide support services for assisted living, skilled nursing, rehabilitation services, and memory care. As a life plan community, we offer the higher levels of living for future care and physical support. We never know when our health will change. Living in a community that offers on-site support services provides peace of mind, knowing there is support available. What is a life plan community? What is a CCRC? A CCRC is a continuing care retirement community that offers independent living with convenient services and amenities that support an active lifestyle, a flexible lifestyle with everything you need, and freedom. from home ownership responsibilities. Most importantly, as a life plan community, we offer the higher levels of living with priority access to the on-site care and support services. The Terraces at Los Altos, our new campus development, opened in 2017. We are fresh, we are new. Our campus is 7 acres and we are nestled in a neighborhood in the heart of Los Altos, 1 mile from gas stations, banks, restaurants, grocery stores, and markets and shops from downtown Los Altos. Our residents are vibrant and have active lifestyles. They are either in a walking group, an exercise group, riding their bicycles, or traveling. Let's not forget our helpful team members.
Okay. So here's what has happened over the years for Deb and myself is since we've been working with retirees for so long, we hear the same things, the same concerns. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to share those with you. And the one thing, I think the thing that comes up the most, the one pushback that we get is that the maybe retirement community, maybe I'm too young to go to the retirement community. Maybe it's going to make me feel, it might make me feel old. And so I think actually it's a perception issue, if you ask me. I think it's a glass half full, glass half empty kind of a thing. So, I work with retirees and they're older than I am, and I don't feel old when I'm working with them. And sometimes I tell my retirees that say, it's going to make me feel old when I go there. Well, I think it would make you feel old if you're around a bunch of young people, right? So being around a bunch of people that are your age or older, I think it's like-minded individuals. It's a great place to be. It's all in the way you look at things and how you see things. Don't you agree, Deb? I mean, I can't imagine it making you feel old.
No, it's all about your spirit. And everyone in spirit is happy. They're happy spirit, they're happy souls. They love to connect with other residents, other people, like-minded people, enjoying daily activities, having that sense of community, and they stay busy. I mean, They're either busy in book clubs, we're doing Zoom chats, we have happy hour, we have baking contests, resident baking contests. Joke of the day, that's a fun one. And we have new technology right now, and we have to think out of the box with COVID. And so thinking out of the box, we are expanding our knowledge and technology. And we have a new Cubicle communication program here at the Terraces for our residents to remain connected, along with Zoom training. And we now started one-day university online educational classes. And so they have plenty to still keep them busy. And they're also joining the walking groups. And guess what? They have old-fashioned fun. Everyone has banded together. And feeling young in spirit, regardless of your age, everyone feeds off their positivity. And that's what I love about our residents.
Yeah, it's all in the way you look at it. One of the questions is, well, I'm going to be leaving my neighborhood, I'm going to be leaving my family. Can someone come to the retirement community and join in the fun and stay overnight and be with me? So what do you have there at Terraces at Los Altos that can help them for that?
Absolutely. Our residents can have overnight guests within their own apartment home. Unfortunately, we don't have a hospitality suite to offer, but we have beautiful apartments that are spacious in square footage, and they're welcome to have overnight guests as often as they like. Grandchildren, great-grandchildren, family members, friends. The only thing that we do ask is that no one guest stay longer than 14 consecutive days. And when I say that, everyone says, well, we wouldn't want anyone to stay longer than 14 consecutive days. So it's nice to have the freedom and flexibility to have overnight guests and to join you either with other activities. This would be pre-COVID, keep in mind, and we will get back to a day when we will be able to have those extended activities with family and friends again.
All right, next one is, I've heard this a number of times where they're thinking, gosh, that's a big commitment. I hope I'm picking the right community, and I hope there's people there that I can vibe with, and I hope the location is good, and I'm gonna here I'm going to make my decision, and I know it's a big decision. Well, what if I were to change my mind? So are there things in place where someone can change their mind, Deb?
There is, and that's a great question. It's a question asked often. And part of our contracts, we do have a 90-day right to cancel period. So as a new resident, you have a 90-day right to cancel. Within those 90 days, you submit a 30-day notice to vacate, and you will receive a rebate of your choice plan. We offer a 50% rebate and a 75% rebate. So depending on the plan you choose, you have a guaranteed rebate. After the 90 days and before the 90 days, it will be 100%. We do offer a third plan. It's amortized for 44 months. After the 90 days, it will be an amortized refund. Before the 90 days, it is an 82% refund. So that brings peace of mind that you can change your mind and receive 100% back of your entrance fee from the rebatable plans.
All right. Next one. This is the one I get the most often. Okay. So this is the paralysis of analysis I'm talking about. So people get overwhelmed. I completely understand this. I'll bet even the downsizer gets overwhelmed with the amount of stuff the downsizer has. So we realize it's not an easy thing to do. They get a little overwhelmed. Downsizing is the number one thing. My key success story or success tip for you is to start early. The sooner you start, just do a little bit a day, 15 minutes a day. You can get moving a little bit, you make a little progress, you feel good, you clean out a junk drawer. Every time you go by the junk drawer, even if you don't need anything in there, you kind of pull it open and you feel good about it, right? So you start downsizing soon, right? Even if you're on the waiting list and the waiting list, let's say, is a year or 2 years long. I'm working with a lot of my clients that far in advance because we don't want it to be a stressful situation. We want it to be slow and steady wins the race. So I'd say start early, be productive, make things happen. Don't let things happen or wait for things to happen. I always like to do important things before they become urgent. Because there's two things you need to do, important things and important things that are urgent. It's much better to do them just important while they're not urgent. So as a reminder, we are going to have our next webinar is on downsizing and right sizing and moving. So you might want to stay tuned for that one. But what would you tell a homeowner if they said they're just too overwhelmed to think about it? I've got paralysis of analysis. Deb, knock me off the fence.
Hey, if you're feeling overwhelmed now with the thought of moving, think about how you're going to feel 3 years from now, 5 years from now. It will be worse. The feeling of overwhelming will just be that much more. So keep in mind that we do have a wait list of 2 to 3 years for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. So planning ahead is so important. Planning ahead to join a wait list. And once residents make that commitment, our waitlist depositors make a commitment to join the waitlist, they know they have that 2 to 3 year period. During that time, they're downsizing, cleaning out the garage, the closets, painting the house, doing landscaping, any type of home improvements. And they're actively getting ready to sell their home if they are indeed using those proceeds for the entrance fee to join the community here. And no worries, we have you covered. I can provide you a list of professional organized specialists who are designed to assist you with selecting furniture from your home, what will fit in your new apartment home here in the community. They will pack you, move you, and unpack you. Their service it's weight in gold, and it's a turnkey process. And this has been very successful for many of our residents who have moved into the community using a professional organizing downsizing company. I have seen those residents who choose to pack their own boxes and do their own move and have family. And what happens? They load up the boxes, they bring them all here, and they're stressed out because they packed. They unload the boxes. And guess what? They leave mom or dad on their own to unpack. And they're trying to unpack and they're living in boxes. It could be for months. And it's stressful. They're pulling their hair out. It's not a good plan. So usually when they've had enough, then they will say, yes, please provide me that valuable information for an organizing specialist. And then I help them at that point to get their apartment set up so they can be comfortable and start enjoying the community without stress. So the service is truly, it's weight in gold.
Yeah, it all comes back to education as well, because there's so many moving parts, so many things to think about. You don't do it every day. Deb and I do it every day, all day, every day. So there's two people you need, maybe even three. You've got Deb on one end, you've got a downsizer or a move manager on another end, and then you've got a realtor who can be working side by side. And you'd probably be thinking, well, I don't need to hire a realtor right now because I'm not going to be selling my home for a year or two. But there's a lot of things that a realtor needs to help you with, advise you on, guide you down the right path, reduce your stress. And a realtor can't do that unless there's some sort of agreement in place that just says, you know, we have a relationship. So don't be afraid to engage with a realtor now so we can start working. I'd say 90% of my clients I've worked with for about a year ahead of time. So, you know, it's all about education. Tap into these resources of these people who are doing this on a daily basis. That's going to really reduce your stress.
So as we work together, Brian and I work together, we're coordinating timelines of an apartment becoming available on the wait list for a resident, a future resident. So between the three of us, we're coordinating that timeline and projection. I'm doing a projection of when I will have an apartment available. I'm communicating with Brian and with the future resident, and we're coordinating. So if they are using those proceeds for the buy-in here at the community, then it's a team approach. It's a team approach in selling their home, having an apartment ready, and creating a timeline so it's seamless. It's a seamless transition when they sell their home and move into a community. So it's been wonderful working with Brian and having this team approach and serving our residents.
Yep, the number one goal is keep that stress level down. So
Absolutely.
All right, so the next thing I always get is they say, I'm going to wait. That word, wait, we hear that often. I'm going to wait till I get old enough. I'm going to wait until something happens. I'm going to wait till my health declines before I get on the waiting list. And the waiting list is a safety net, and you can be on multiple waiting lists. I don't want you to not be on a waiting list. So I don't want you to miss the cruise ship. I want you to be proactive. So Deb, what would you say if someone said, you know, I'm just going to wait to get on the waiting list. You know, when something happens, I'll give you a call. Don't call me, I'll call you.
Well, you have the right to wait, but please know it can possibly impact your admission to joining independent living. You take the risk of possibly not passing the health assessment criteria to join independent living. Also, when you add the 2 to 3 year wait list, that will also impact your opportunity to join an independent living community combined with a health decline. So keep that in mind when you are planning ahead. If you're not able to join independent living due to a health decline, you would not be eligible for the continuing care benefits that are offered in the lifetime care contract. That includes the priority access to the higher levels of living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, rehabilitation services, and physical therapy. Those are the components of that lifetime care contract for future planning while you live here as an independent resident. So you are securing your care for the future in a retirement independent living setting versus home waiting until your health declines. It's a whole new ball game when you do month to month.
Yeah, you know what I always say, and it's a great analogy, is I say that the retirement community actually wants you to come in the front door. And I'm going to call the front door independent living. So I come in the front door and I'm going to be independent for, who knows, 2, 3 years, whatever it is. And because I purchased a life care plan contract, I get to travel through the corridor to the next, let's say, assisted living. And then after that, maybe I need skilled nursing. And maybe after that, I might need memory care. Well, if I waited too long and I didn't come in the independent door and I try and get in the side assisted living door or the side skilled nursing door, I have to wait for the people that have first priority of the people that have been there, and they're going to be moving through the system. So there might be an even longer wait to try and get in that side door. So, you know, why wouldn't you come in the front door and also enjoy the cruise ship? You know, why wait to get on the cruise ship? I mean, if as soon as I'm old enough, I'm ready. My ticket's purchased. I want on the waiting list. I want on the ship. I don't want to be too, you know, 95 years old before I get on the cruise ship. So don't wait too long and come in the front door. All right. So what does it take to get on the waiting list?
Well, it's a $2,000 monetary deposit, which is 100% refundable at any time. It's payable to the Terraces at Los Altos, that and a completed application. And I will assist you through the entire application process.
See, the thing that people see about a waiting list is they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on there for 2 years, 3 years, in some cases 5 years. You know, geez, I don't even know if I should get on there. You do want to get on there because here's what happens is the person ahead of you might not like the unit that is available and you might like it. So your name might move up that list a little faster than you think, you know, and I call it a safety net. There's no reason not to be on the waiting list. It's a refundable fee. It's almost like having a home equity line of credit lined up. You don't need to use that home equity line of credit, but it's so nice to know that it's there, right? So having your name on the waiting list just gives you peace of mind, knowing that, you know, I'm working my way up the list. Debbie's going to keep in touch with me. Maybe Brian's going to help me, you know, advise me on things. What should I be doing to my house? What should I not be doing? All that time you're on the waiting list, we're being proactive and we're doing things. Okay. So anyway, I just think it's a great thing to do. There's no reason why you shouldn't be on the list. Okay. All right. Next thing I hear is the food. Okay. So on the cruise ship, we love our food and our buffets and the chef and all that kind of stuff. So Deb, can you tell them a little bit about the meals, how many they get, and you know, what's going on with all of that?
Food is very important for our residents, and we do provide lunch and dinner for independent living. Everyone is on their own for breakfast. You have a full kitchen with full-size appliances in your apartment home. We also have a bistro for grab and go for breakfast items, coffee, pastries, sandwiches, salads, snacks, things like that, an espresso coffee or latte. It's on a point system. And so with those points, it will provide you 1 3-course meal a day per person. That's a lot of food in one setting. So most of our residents will break that up to 2 small meals for lunch and for dinner. And for those who prefer to eat lunch in their own home, then you can decide whether to come for dinner or for lunch. It's always enough points that I always get asked, well, will I run out of points? People always have enough points, and the points do roll over to the following month, and you can share those points with families and friends. Right now during COVID, we are delivering all meals to their apartment homes, and they're still using their meal points. And those who ask, I do get asked a lot, well, I prefer to cook all the time within my own apartment home. Can I opt out of the meal program? Unfortunately not. So we have other ways that you can use those points for catering, group gatherings in the private dining room, or for bottles of wine, happy hour, things like that. Or bring your family over for lunch with you and use your points for family and friends.
If anyone needs help using their points, the food there is amazing. So I'm always available to help you burn through those points.
Absolutely.
All right. So what about pets? Can I bring my pet? Can I bring my Great Dane? Or can I, you know, is there any limitations to the pets? Tell us about that.
Your furry friends are welcomed. Dogs, 35 pounds and under, and cats, You know, they're welcome. Our campus is actually set up with the doggy bags and the waste baskets. So when you walk your dog on campus, you have plenty of those around to pick up after your pets.
Do you have a doggy or a kitty interview process?
There is a pet policy, and the interview, just bring them in to say hello, and they need to be updated with all their shots. And it's a $500 pet policy deposit.
Okay.
Which is refundable should your pet pass away.
All right. So there's a lot of different communities out there. There's some are apples, some are oranges, some are peaches. So in the case of the Terraces at Los Altos, do I own the apartment or am I renting the apartment? Can you tell me about that? Is it a property purchase? What is going on there?
That's a good question, Brian, and I do get asked that quite often. And here at the Terraces at Los Altos, there is no equity base in the apartment. The paid entrance fee is solely for the lifetime care contract that provides benefits and support services. That is what you are buying through the entrance fee, a lifetime care contract that provides benefits and support services. And you have a choice of an apartment, whether it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath with a den. Those are the apartment sizes you can choose from. Well, the buy-in, again, is going to provide you benefits, support services for on-site care and physical support, as well as services and amenities for independent living. So it's the whole package. We're looking at the whole continuity of care for the remainder of your life versus the month-to-month rental agreement. It offers no benefits or priority access to the higher levels of care or support. So it is the opposite of what the buy-in offers. And the buy-in here at the Terraces is lifetime. And we offer rebatable plans. And those are nice. Those are nice plans that people do enjoy and take advantage of, so that should they move away or pass away, then those rebate options are returned to their trust or to a designated family member of their choice. So by paying for a rebatable plan, your cost of care on the back end is less for the remainder of your life.
Well, let me just add real quick on the difference between buying a month to month. There are communities out there where you can do month to month, and you might be thinking, wow, I can save, hundreds of thousands of dollars by going to a month to month. There have been horror stories about other communities that have decided to stop doing business. And those people were on a month to month plan. There was no guarantee that they could stay there for the rest of their lives. And so then they were asked to leave because they were on a month to month. Pretty much all they were doing is renting. And so you think, okay, I got to do the buy-in. Oh, it's a really expensive buy-in. Could you imagine how much a condominium would cost in Los Altos? A gorgeous granite counter, all of the amenities there, food, all of the services for the small actually cost that it takes to get into the Terraces at Los Altos. So when someone says to me, wow, that's a big buy-in, I say, wow, that's a really low buy-in, believe me. So don't think of it as glass half empty. Think of it as glass half full. There's no way you're going to get a townhouse or a condo with those amenities in Saratoga, Los Gatos, Montecito, Los Altos, or California for that matter. So I'm sold on the buy-in.
Absolutely. And even the amortized plans, which are less expensive than the rebatable plans, those are great buy-ins on the lower end. And those low prices on the amortized plan, you cannot buy a condo in Los Altos for that price. And this is including care. And don't forget, when you do pay an entrance fee for a care contract, there is a tax available deduction for those who qualify and meet the criteria, and it is through the federal IRS. And there is a deduction from the initial entrance fee that you pay for that year. There is a percentage deduction amount for that initial buy-in, which is nice because that will kind of soften your capital gains the same year that you are selling your home. So it's an offset. And there's also an annual tax deduction on the monthly fee. And for independent living and you're not receiving care in independent living, the deduction is solely based on the care contract that you are paying with an entrance fee. So
Wow.
there is some nice tax deductions for those who meet the criteria.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so there are different buy-in levels, and can you explain the difference between a higher buy-in, a medium buy-in, and a lower buy-in? What's the difference there?
Sure. Again, the low buy-in will be the amortized plan. Now that plan is amortized for 44 months, and there's no refund of your monies after 44 months. Should you move away or pass away before 44 months, then the unused amortized portion would be refunded to you or to your estate. That is our low buy-in, which is great. And then the rebatable plans, those are going to be more, those will cost more upfront, but then you get more back should you move away or pass away. So it's really what works best for you. And you need to think about this in a way. So if you're going to have a large capital gains, right? That's the big concern here with everyone in Los Altos, capital gains. So if you do take the 75% rebate plan and you're going to pay more money up front, you're going to offset that with your tax deduction. I believe it's 28% of that initial entrance fee. So you get that deduction to offset the income earnings that you made from selling your home. So it helps soften the impact. So when you're doing that planning, that's when I have consultations with the future residents, explaining the contracts, explaining the tax deduction that is available so that you can have an educated conversation with your tax advisor, with your realtor, and make the best decision of which plan will work for you.
At the Terraces at Los Altos, what if someone were to run out of money?
Well, what's really nice about the Terraces at Los Altos, we are owned and operated by Human Good. We are a nonprofit organization since 1949. We are the 6th largest nonprofit nationwide. So we do offer affordable housing, and we also offer a benevolence foundation for each community. We have 21 communities, and each community has their own pot of money for benevolence. That benevolence fund is to assist our residents should they run out of resources through no fault of their own. So those funds will pay their monthly fees wherever they may be within the community, assisted living, memory care, long-term care. It will pay their monthly fee to the end of life because these contracts are lifetime. How do we raise monies for the Benevolence Foundation? We do have a president of the Benevolence Foundation to do fundraisers, but mostly we are raising money by our residents, through our residents. When they are no longer driving and they need to get rid of their vehicle, they can donate it to the foundation and those monies will go to it. They can also do a gift annuity, or they can just do a donation in an amount that they're comfortable with. So it's giving back to the community that is serving them and keeping our rates and our fees at a competitive rate and keeping them low. So when I keep census high and I keep our community full in occupancy, then that keeps our costs down overall for residents and for the organization. And it's our residents who donate to that foundation to help others. And a lot of our residents here from the Silicon Valley are already donating to other agencies. And so why not donate back into the community that is serving you? And you know our reputation. We've been here since 1949 in this neighborhood right here in Los Altos before a lot of the homes were built. And so we're well known. Everyone remembers us as Pilgrim Haven back in the day. And now we are the Terraces of Los Altos. So we do give back to our residents, and we do either through the benevolence or with our affordable housing. And we have, I believe, 95 affordable housing locations throughout the states.
Beautiful. All right, let's move on to, isn't it less expensive to have in-home care? And I know a lot of people think that, and they say, oh, I get to stay home and I'll just have somebody come in every time now and then when I need help. And it is a very, very expensive thing. And now I've heard actually if the person who is getting the care is larger than the person giving the care, and that person maybe needs to be moved or whatnot, they're going to pay for two caregivers. Also, you've got caregivers, different ones coming in, different ones coming out. Through the COVID thing, it's hard to get people to come to your home. So you don't know who's coming in. You don't know if they're vetted, you know. There's so many more benefits to being at Terraces at Los Altos, but the expense wise, I know for sure it's far more expensive to use an in-home care service than it is to live in a community, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is. I mean, it can be from $30 to $40 an hour. And if you're needing 4 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 24 hours a day, times that by 7 days, it can get quite costly, up to $20,000 a month, depending on what care is needed and whether it's one person or a couple.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. So health insurance. Some of us have long-term care health insurance. Luckily, some of us have long-term care plans. Those are amazing. Hard to get nowadays. You're lucky if you do have them, but we all have insurance. Can I use that insurance? Can I keep that insurance? Do I keep the same doctor? Can you tell us about how that works?
That's a great question, and I do get asked that quite often. Your healthcare insurance will remain in place as is. We are not offering healthcare insurance. We are offering and providing on-site services to use your insurance for the rehabilitation services in skilled nursing, or for the physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy services. So you can use your Medicare insurance for those. So your insurance remains in place. If you do have long-term care insurance, that's okay. You can use that as well when you need those support or physical support services. Your policy will kick in when you are needing either in-home care, or you're residing in assisted living or memory care, or in a long-term care skilled nursing setting. Unfortunately, the long-term care policy does not pay out when you are independent, healthy, and living safely in independent living.
That makes sense. Okay, good. All right. Now, this happens. You know, maybe our health doesn't go the same way in the same direction at the same time. So what if my spouse's health declines and mine doesn't? So maybe one needs memory care, maybe one needs skilled, maybe one is more independent than the other. What happens if we're not on the same track at the same time?
Well, first of all, that's the beauty of a life plan community, that we provide our residents choices. And with the life plan community, you have choices to either one spouse remain in independent living and the other go either into assisted living or memory care, depending on what the need is. If you do that, which is a choice, then you will have 2 monthly fees for each apartment in those 2 separate living environments. Or the couple can say, well, we're going to move together. I will join my husband in assisted living. Therefore, you will vacate your independent living apartment and transition to a 1-bedroom apartment with a kitchenette and assisted living. And your new monthly fee would begin there. And it will be more because at that time you are receiving physical care. And at that time, if you do have long-term care insurance, it will kick in. So you do give up that independent living apartment and you move over into assisted living.
But what's great about that is you're on the same campus. So, you know, if I was at a retirement community and my spouse needed to go to a memory care facility, or if we weren't in a retirement community at all and my spouse needed to go to a memory care community, I would have to drive over there and, you know, work out things and I couldn't eat with them and spend time with them. But here, when you're on the same campus, 100 feet away, you feel good. And the person who's needing the care feels more comfortable knowing that they're not there all by themselves.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. You're on the same campus, you're able to have meals together, spend the day together, do activities together. If they're in memory care, you can sign them out and then sign them back in. In assisted living, you can still leave campus, go do your shopping, do your errands, spend time together, but you have the peace of mind that your loved one, your spouse, is receiving the physical support and care that they need. And spouses do support other spouses, but there becomes a time when they get burnout, or there's a time when they can no longer physically meet the challenge as the care needs increase. Therefore, they need that support from either assisted living or memory care. So that is the beauty and the design of a life plan continuing care retirement community, giving you those options, those services, the continuity of care, and you're remaining together on the same campus.
Great, 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 great. All right. So what if my loved one has been diagnosed with, let's call it forgetfulness, okay? Early onset forgetfulness. Are there any proactive things we should be doing, things we should be thinking about, things we should do now as opposed to waiting if we have an early diagnosis of forgetfulness?
This is not uncommon, unfortunately. And, our residents who are in independent living and a spouse starts to experience this, then we do have support services to not only support the one who's experiencing forgetfulness, but also the spouse who's supporting them. So we have a program called Residential Plus. And in that program, you can select either medication management or some physical support. And we'll design a care plan to best meet the care needs for the individual and to support the other spouse who may be experiencing some burnout. And you can have this service within your independent living apartment on a temporary basis until one is truly ready and needed to make that transition to either memory care or assisted living. You are allowed also to hire a companion. We have a list of outside agencies that we network with and that are vetted through their agency and they're vetted through our agency as well. And you may hire an hourly companion to come within your independent living apartment and provide companion support. They're not allowed to do any type of physical care, but they can do a lot of companionship or help you with your daily living within your own apartment home.
Okay, so we've come pretty much to the end of the typical what our clients and people have, the reservations and the misconceptions, and these are just the top 10 that we've covered. There's probably 50 more. To wrap this part of it up, to wrap the presentation part of it up, what would you say are the next steps that someone could take to be proactive, just to kind of dip their foot in the water or take one step in that direction?
Come for a visit, call me for information, call me for a consultation appointment, or call me for more information and a campus tour.
Or just call her to talk. That's what I do. She's a really nice, warm person. She's not going to sell you on anything. Neither am I. I'm not going to stick a sign in your lawn. We're just here to help you make good decisions. So the next step I would think would be just give Deb or myself a call and just ask us, tell us your story. And because everybody's story is different. No one is the same as anyone else. So we need to hear that input. We need to hear about the kids and the family and, locations and preferences and fears and all of that stuff. And then we're going to hone our message to you and give you some homework to do to go away with so that you can start preparing yourself and start going down this path. I know the first step is the hardest step. So thanks, Deb. So the next thing we're going to do are the upcoming webinars. There's one in September called Right Sizing Your Things for Life. That's going to be with Cindy Hofen. And she is a great move manager. So she's going to tell you how to de-stress your life and get started with that. Then in October, I'm going to be doing the holistic homeowner, which talks about everything you need to be thinking about. It's not just about, oh, I'm going to sell my house and move to a retirement community. You've got finances, you've got taxes, you've got estate planning, you've got what you want your future to look like, the kids, there's, I think, 35 different things we're going to be talking about of things that you need to be cognizant of when you say, I'm going to sell my house. When most people say, I'm going to sell my house, I go, whoa, hold on. Let's get together. Let's think about everything, right? So it's a holistic view of your home ownership. And then lastly, in November, we're going to finish the year out with Ready, Set, Go, which is going to talk about, let's figure out your capital gains. Let's talk about home preparation. Let's talk about the whole real estate transaction as a whole, what to expect, your homework. And you'll leave that webinar actually with a transition manual that talks about all of this stuff, checklists and everything you'll need to make your transition a lot less stressful. Okay, so look for those upcoming webinars. We wanted to thank you all for being here, for being proactive homeowners, for not waiting for things to happen, but making things happen. And I want to thank Deb for allowing me to be here and help educate you guys. So Deb, you want to say any final words?
Thank you everyone for attending today, and we look forward to seeing you or having you join us again for the upcoming webinars. And should you have any questions after this webinar or any of them, please reach out to me. I'd be happy just to provide a consultation and provide you information and any education that I can do. So a simple conversation to start the process.